asking this evening with my guests. Well, Honorable Paul Mwiru, of course it's not the first time that we're seeing confrontations by security. Do you think the opposition is putting up enough force to counter the amount of brutality, state brutality?
This country, I think there's a very big problem. Because you see from your question, now it is clear that there is state brutality. How do we marshal up to really verse the state brutality?
No, legally, for instance.
Because, you see, I want first to get our point of contention. It is our considered opinion that security has no business in the electoral process, only with the exception if invited by the Electoral Commission. That has been our contention. The framers of the law...
But the reality is different.
The framers of the law, as it were, they realized that security will be needed at a polling station. And they made a provision where the Electoral Commission will appoint an election constable to be at a polling station. The other circumstances, for instance, like as we're operating now, the Electoral Commission has accredited members of our party for each parish. And whenever we're in this process, they provide to us lists of their officials who are in charge of those particular areas. Meaning that in case there is anything which need to be dealt with or resolved, it is very simple for us to reach out to them. In case in their view they think our supporters on either side actually are misbehaving, they would reach out to us or they would reach out to the other contenders in this process. That's how we used to manage, and there would be no issue. What we are seeing now is that now the state has taken over the process, that the commission is at the periphery, to the extent that actually, of course, as of now, there is no complainant from the NRM camp, from what I've gathered. Because I've been seeing the NRM people so disgusted with what is taking place. Mean that the security, for their own reason and their own volition, they are coming up to take on our party. That's why today we are supposed to have a rally where our party president was supposed to be. But with the intelligence he gathered, we had to call off the rally. Because we were given to understand that they wanted to assassinate our party president. Yes.
That's gross.
Yes.
That's
because the other time.
That's a gross allegation.
Yes. That's why we office. Because we were wondering, the other candidates were moving. We have not actually had any issue with the NRM candidate or the independent candidates. We have not even fought or even crushed anywhere. So on what intelligence were the security apparatus now coming to our... Do
you feel a bit of relief now that the Electoral Commission has given you assurance?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, for us as a political organization, we knew that as leaders we had the duty to go and tell the commission that actually the law as is, you are in charge of the process. If you relegate yourself to be at the periphery of the process where you invited us to be nominated, history will judge you, and actually our people, as they exist as our supporters, they are not settling for less. They are saying they have votes, they are going to vote, they will vote for Narukola and they stay at a polling station to guard their votes. That's why in other by-elections, the security has been trying to beat up people who have phones, even to record the results at polling stations. Today we had a discussion with the Electoral Commission. They said, since the results are declared at a polling station, it is lawful to take a photo of what is taking place at a polling station. You understand? So the point I'm making out of this, that we have made it clear that the law as is puts this process in the hands of the Electoral Commission, not in the hands of security. Because if I've been accredited to be in charge of a particular area, let's say Chebando, in case of any issue to do with electoral matters, I shouldn't be confronted by security.
I thought
I should be in a position to deal.
It didn't require you to go to the Electoral Commission for assurance.
Well, they brought it in as a matter of operational procedure. And to some extent, we agreed that we give them names to accredit. But our point of contention is that even when they accredit, You can be in a particular area. Then you see the military beating up people, but starving. Then when you call them, they said that is security. Like I was in Serere myself. We had a polling station. When they had the mark, the chairman was there. So, but what is taking place? They said, hey, stop. But you said at the end of the day, then he said, I've provided another ballot box so that people start voting. Then in the evening, they don't validate those results. Because what they attack a polling station, mark ballot papers, and then add on those which were already inside. Then they say that, no, to us, it is the returning officer who has powers to invalidate those results. But since he has not, they must form part of the tally.
Okay.
You understand? So for us, we are
does
saying,
the brutality by security and maybe the mischief that is playing out already, does it give you telltale signs of what could happen on the 13th?
You see, actually, first, I expected my good friend, Honorable Babu, like when he was making comments, I saw him try to create narratives to frame the victim. In this election of Kawempe, we have not had issue with any other candidate. Neither have they had any issue with us. You understand? But what now I'm wondering, also now from you as the moderator, how you are centering now JAT as if it is NUP versus JAT. This is an election where actually they are candidates. You understand? We are
so what kind of election is it anyway?
You see, to us, as of now, we have campaigned. Our candidate has made this message very clear, and we are very optimistic that we are going to win the vote. Now, the bottlenecks we are foreseeing a situation where the Electoral Commission is trying to surrender the process now to JAT, which JAT is saying is not being known by the Minister of Defense, only done by Minister of Internal Affairs, that actually they are on free range, holding guns, government guns, being driven in the government vehicles. You see, that's what is very perplexing. But you see, the most important thing and very fundamental in this, that now it is up to President Museveni and his team to either completely close this space, because I'm saying people of Kawempe are not settling for less in this.
Thank you. Honorable Sechikubo, when you look at everything that is transpiring, that is unfolding, do you worry that we've gotten to the extent where everyone cannot account? Because apparently there seem to be contradicting narratives coming from all corners. And would you absolve the National Unity Platform for this matter of any wrongdoing that could actually be prompting security to get high-handed?
You see, this is a campaign period. And viewers also know that in campaigns, people go out to canvass support for their candidates. I may not say I'm absolving the National Unity Platform Party, but also the NRM. We've not seen NRM supporters clashing with any of the other opponents in Kawempe. So to that extent, someone is not telling the truth somewhere. I may hesitate to add that going by what has been happening, of course we're in a bad situation. It's not good at all. Only that I would like to really clarify on one point. My colleague has said they've abandoned this afternoon's rally because they got allegations that the party president, Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, was to be assassinated there. I don't think we have reached that depth. I don't think any sane person, any government worth the salt can resort to assassination. What we are seeing is the brutalization.
What is assassination?
It can result into fatalities, but for whoever are planning that, to think they can take this country forward by killing an opposition leader, I think that is, I think that intelligence or information was a bit exaggerated. Yes, things are bad, I must say. No, things are bad, but I doubt whether any sane person can can kill, can assassinate
But you said
a
the
party
tweet.
president. So to me, I think what we can agree together here is that things are bad. Can't we salvage the situation? Now, when it comes to everybody disowning these faceless, hooded jet operatives and say they don't know, it brings into mind what used to transpire in the 1980s during the Obote government, where there used to be a very catching word, uncoordinated movement of troops. Until July 1985, when those uncoordinated movement of troops led to the downfall of the government of the then President Milton Obote. So to me, it's not a wise excuse to say that nobody is aware, nobody took charge of those masked, hooded operatives. Can you imagine putting on hoods? Can you imagine putting on masks, hiding their faces, but with very lethal weapons, ready to shoot, ready to kill? So to me, I think as a country, we shouldn't take that route. Someone must be held to account.
No, who will?
And number two, and the last to that, when we see this happening after the 40 years, and unfortunately, are we in charge? And this is the question I asked the Minister of Internal Affairs this afternoon. Are we in charge of this? Who is in charge of this country? And the earlier we answer that question, the better, not for the opposition, but also for the NRMs. It's not that we are doing the people of Kawempe North a favor. No.
NRM says
no.
the current situation is giving the opposition an advantage.
Indeed.
Actually, our people are
Indeed,
I
but
would encourage my brother
But-
to pass via Mulago.
no, you are
And
you're
some
right.
people have been butchered.
I'm not saying it's not true. And this is why I'm saying that this is a distort. This is the lowest one could ever imagine. And Kagwa, this seat we are talking about, it shouldn't be a matter of do or die. Because the late Honorable Segirinya was a member of the opposition. What NRM is trying to do this time around is to go for those areas where we lost to see how we can bring back on board our supporters. Because once upon a time, NRM used to dominate Kampala. And how did we come to lose Kampala is the question. So would we be using this opportunity to try, to mend fences with our people? But what is happening now, as it is distancing people away from the party. And really, that one is most hurting.
There is a sense that security has been the most defining sentiment that is going to guide this election. Do you agree?
Of course, what I'm seeing it on two ways. The security which is undefined, which is unaccounted for, is there, and nobody is arresting them, and nobody is calling them to order. And I'm also seeing the people, like the recent TikToks we've been watching, people also galvanizing themselves and radicalizing the people, the population. So my worry is the two, there is bound to be a clash. And to me, who belongs to the party, I should allow the party to canvass for the support amongst the people, not the security. This is what the president condemned in his first statements.
Thank you. Honorable Miriam, by the look of things, does it appear to you that now it is Narukola versus the state? And does it take away all the other candidates who are in the race?
First of all, for me, I want to begin by saying, but by the way, for me, elections in Uganda are meaningless to me. And in fact, that's why if I had power, I would stop elections so that the big people continue until God sends them away. Because these elections, me as a senior citizen, a mother and a grandmother, when I see the young people, the way they are tortured, the way they die, some we don't know. Since the elections of 2021, that chaos, the nobles, children, supporters, how they suffered, some of them disappeared, some of them maybe are somewhere still in prison, all those things. And you see them happening now. By the way, when you see me talk, I talk from, a lived experience. I spent 20 years in politics of this country. I used to go and contest. There were elections, democratically elected. We used to be with our opponents. I never even saw any policeman. I used to be chief campaigner for the president, Western region and all that kind of thing. And I never saw police or military coming to deal with us in elections. I go in countries by the observe elections like Kenya, Liberia, where South Africa, I tell you, you see people voting, you never see any police, you never see any chaos, you never see all these things. But now, since Museveni 2, the second Museveni government, we used to say Obote 1 and Obote 2. In Museveni's government, there was Museveni 1 up to 2006.
Where did he go?
From 2006, I'm talking of, don't look at me as if you are ignorant. I'm talking of the different types of Museveni leadership. The first one, our movement, 1986 to 2006. That was Museveni 1. In Museveni 2, with the introduction of the multi-party dispensation, that's when all this chaos, all the dying, all the suffering of the people came, and at every stage it is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And me, what saddens me, yes, what saddens me is that there is even no sense of shame. And I have never seen such greed for power, where it becomes a matter of life and death. Surely.
Could this be Museveni 3 now?
I don't, leave me, I'm telling it is Museveni 2 in its progression. Even imagine one seat. We have been seeing by-elections. When by-elections come, one seat like this, NRM has got I don't know how many seats. The majority of the majority, even if opposition can push in 2 or 3 others, it would not be any change. But even one seat like this, you rise up with this army, you go to mistreat the people, you beat them because you want to get that seat. And I've told you the room I got. And I'm saying it here because I would like maybe it can be preempted. That this one of the big ladies there top said that for us we are determined. Do you remember the other young lady who said, Tuina amaje, muja kuturaba, era amaje ne bagakozesa ne tubaraba. Naye kakati naye abadde agamba nti we are determined to take Kawempe even if it means killing people. Now, don't put me to proof. They told me and I'm waiting to see. And I'm declaring it here. Probably it may help people. And
at the risk of looking like a rumor monger.
It can restrain them. It can. Don't mind about my rumor mongering. I heard. I'm saying it public, so it is not the rumor mongering. I'm saying it because I want it to preempt those people. Now, having said that, my friend, Honorable Sechkubo, is saying that I do not think that going to that's a nation threat. Now, is it the first time we have seen attempt to kill Kyagulanyi? You remember when they killed his driver and the way he suffered all that much? And I do not think that if Kyagulanyi died, I'm sure the government would be very, very happy and got a good riddance. Therefore, this is what I'm saying. Thank you for getting the rumor. and postponing. Because if we have these people whose power or deployment is denied by everybody, what if now, if these people were holding their whatever, and those people whose deployment is denied by everybody goes shoots at Kyagulanyi and he dies? It is just 1 minute and he would have died, and that would have been the end. Because if these people are denied and nobody knows. But for me, as I conclude, and I want to say this is also to preempt, we are saying who is in charge, who is in charge. We know these days who is in charge is CDF. He is in charge. Why do I say he's in charge? He's been saying all these things. He's been saying we kill Besigye and bury him. He's been saying we shall shoot you if you are with the NUP uniform. He has been saying terrible things here, calling parliamentarians what are crowns and idiots, and he even went to the extent of mobilizing his Pirau group and PLU, and they demonstrated, and police allowed them to demonstrate. I don't know demonstrating on what was the subject of demonstration. If he was saying that parliament is corrupt, the people who were holding the banner, the member of parliament holding the banner is the one who has been charged for corruption in court, but here is the one holding the banner leading the demonstration. And yet, when a few women rose up for a cause of being sympathetic with our sister Winnie Byanyima, because one of our husbands was tortured and almost dying in prison, and just a few women came up and put banners and said, please release our husband. I saw them being stripped naked, being thrown into vans and taken to police, and I'm sure they are still there. I don't think they have released. But the whole group rally marched to the people of PLU demonstrating. Nobody touches them, nobody does what. So who is in charge? Maybe he's the one who is releasing these anti-terrorist people. Maybe he's the one. Let them come out and talk. Now I'm challenging this government. They cannot say that they don't know. We are not fools, we are not stupid. Let them come out. If it is not CDF who is doing it.
Thank you. Honorable Paul Mwiru, with the stakes now becoming more and more defined, as security comes to define the forthcoming by-election, do you think other issues can be rested and then you confront the security nightmare?
Well, as I said earlier, I want first to correct the impression created by my good friend Honorable Sechikubo. Intelligence is garbage collection. You understand? And I want to allay your fears. We have the capacity to discern truth from what is wrong. That's why we thought that because we love this country, that's how we had called off until we get an assurance, as we made the commission and they gave us the assurance. So we are resuming. Napoli plan is going to come. But two, and most important, you see, I want to state it again, that in the electoral process of this nature, there is no way, be it police, be it the army, be it judge or a security organization, can come into this process when it's not invited by the electoral commission. That's why we had gone an extra step to say that appoint leaders from either side. Even as I talk now, the NRM people have been accredited, the independents have been, and then people have been accredited for every particular parish, meaning that we are going to be in touch with the electoral commission. We are even going an extra mile to say that, okay, if security is involved in terms of police, can we know the responsible officers of police per every parish? That in case of anything, we reach out to them. But what actually happens in these by-elections, that the security you dealt with in terms of police, they disappear, the commission disappear, and they unleash you to those people. I've seen the comments where the Minister of Security is trying to justify what is taking place. But what we want to say, we are law-abiding citizens. And this narrative, which I saw many people creating, you see, we are victims. Like I had my brother, she could have asked him that, can you absolve Noop of any wrongdoing? And he said, you see, you cannot absolve us of any wrongdoing. First, they attacked at our headquarters, our party headquarters, because I expected it to come out clearly.
No, Honorable, that one you got me wrong.
Yes.
Maybe
you can say it again.
Neither NRM or NUP can be held to blame because we've not seen NRM attacking NUP,
thank you.
and we've not seen NUP doing it. But the confrontation with this hooded group.
I think I'd got you wrong. Because you see, in this particular process, we are not debating that, you see, the NRM people went and confronted the national unity platform.
No.
That's not what we are debating. We're actually debating that an alien organization, which has no role to play in an electoral process, actually is taking center stage.
To what extent would you say that the current state of affairs is giving your candidate some bit of leverage over other players?
Actually, to me, those arguments are very pedestrian. I've heard many people say that, you see, whenever the elections which are rigged, people say that very people say it's not rigged, we do have one. Then people say that, you see, when they gun maim your people, they brutalize you, you get sympathy. Would you? I don't want them to really to go to that level. That when they beat up our people, you see, we get votes.
The ratings go.
How?
The ratings go.
Okay. Assuming, why didn't they go and beat up the NRM candidate? So their ratings go up. You understand? Because for us, we don't invite for it. Let them go and beat up the NRM candidate and their people. So their ratings go up. Why us? You understand?
Okay.
So, to me, I actually have,
in the heat of this exercise, you would imagine that by now, NUP would be reaching out to your colleagues in the opposition to galvanize support to ensure that your candidate is stronger. What explains the mutiness on this front?
Actually, that is also imaginary. I've seen what you ran on the screen. I don't know whether it's the English, I don't know. I see opposition in disarray.
Yes.
You see, disarray, it means a state of confusion.
Yes.
I don't know where you get it, or it is in your head.
Here is the disarray.
Is it in
The
your
DP
head?
is fronting their own candidate. FDC is fielding their own candidate. PPP is having their own candidate. The list goes on.
But
Doesn't that amount to a disarray?
I think you need to be fair to us. DP has a memorandum of understanding with NRM. True, false?
True.
And so are other political players. You understand? Actually, their fielding candidates was actually to cultivate what you are putting up. You understand? Maybe they thought they would use it at this point. But I want to dismiss it.
It was in bad faith.
I want to dismiss it. We don't want to say that they are political organizations. They know how they are playing their cards. If they want to be judged in that way, that at a time when they were the clarion call to come and actually show which side they are, that they took that side. I don't want to judge them, but I'm saying it is not actually yet too late for them to come and support our candidate, because it is crystal clear that our candidate is in the lead, and I don't want to be like judging them. I don't know what circumstances forcing them to do those memorandums. You understand?
Okay, as someone who has been through by-elections, does the absence of other players on the opposition side speak volumes?
They would do if they are truly opposition in the real sense. You see, the survival politics has compromised the moral fiber in the body politic of our country. Because there's nothing personal we are talking about. You understand? We're talking about the process. That you see people are saying that, why don't you reach out? So they allow you to have a free and fair election. For instance, when I was seeing what was taking place, I reached actually on my own volition. I bumped into Honorable Dombo. Then I asked him, hello, you used to be a senior backbencher in the parliament. Is this what we wasted time trying to put in place? What do you think about this place? What is taking place? Are you happy about it when you move? Then he said, you see, let me also reach out to the Secretary General. Because you see, at the end of the day, there must be a bare minimum on either side. Because this country is bigger than all of us. That's why, by the way, by reaching out to the Electoral Commission, it's not that we are weaklings. We would have organized it, because already we are looking at it. We did scenario building and said, in this situation, if we gather intelligence about what may happen to our president, and we just go, won't this affect the country? Would this affect us? Then two, these issues which are taking place, don't we need to go to the Electoral Commission? So they reassure us. For instance, they told us that you have called off, on the last day of your campaign, call off, because the president will be in Kawempe. We said, but there's a program where clearly it had been approved by all sides. But as the president is going to be in a different place, shall be in a different place. And interestingly, the commission in charge of Uganda, Dr. Simba, said, but you see, they also didn't understand how they would force us to call off. He said, but I'm in charge of Uganda. It doesn't make sense to me. And said, because the people are saying that, you see the president, is the president, he needs to be around because of his security. Even, these days when he's moving, I don't know whether they have ever blocked, I think, a road. I think maybe when maybe he wakes up and his baby's going for a shower, they can block a road. Then he went a job. For now, keep on asking what is taking place. You understand? Then they told us if that can happen. For me, I was not surprised. But they can say nobody should be in Kawempe. Because now here in Kampala, they can block a road from here, Kubili. Then they say, where's the president? They said the baby has woken up.
2 hours.
We're going to take tea. You are on the job. You don't know what is taking place. So we realized that maybe with what is actually coming up, they needed, the president is unsafe of his own people. You understand?
Yes.
That he need that type of security to secure the entire Kawempe. But also too, I was in Arua. When we were in the hotel, they kept on telling us, they have finished a plan to finish you. What my brother said, when I was in Arua for Cassiano's by-election, we kept on saying, but how? Can they come for us in the hotel?
Almost finished.
Yeah, they almost finished us. Because we kept on saying, but can these people be unreasonable to that extent? No, we kept on doubting. As we were there, they surrounded our hotel. You understand? When we kept on asking, I called the commissioner Tashobia by then. I said, we have been arrested with a candidate. He said, it's not possible. It was also you not to believe that can happen. And it happened.
Well,
so what exactly we are saying, that we're actually not asking for much. We are saying we have the capacity to relate with the Electoral Commission, the main stakeholder in this process, and we have a free and fair election in Kawempe.
Honorable Setukubo, as we take a break, I'll give you just a couple of minutes. Don't you find it rather odd? Because historically, by-elections have attracted opposition unity. You see the opposition standing as one. This time, everyone is encamped differently. What does this speak
that narrative
You said, to me, Mr. Kagwanjala, yes, there have been instances where the opposition have been coalescing behind a single candidate for their own reasons. And to us, NRM, there has also been those moments where the independent candidates, but NRM leaning, have been putting together their support to the official NRM candidate. Now, to me, those are internal party dynamics. So it doesn't matter whether this time round NUP is going it alone.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me. What is most important to me is for there to be good space for parties, because all these are registered parties. If they have strong reasons for them to field independent and their own candidates, let them be. But as government, as the state, it is the duty, not even a favor, to allow a free and fair exercise.
Yeah, but this is not peculiar to the opposition alone. Even in NRM today as we speak, there are two NRMs who are standing.
Of course, we know that one, Miss Kaladi and Miss Nambi, they are all NRM, but the official flag bearer is Nambi. And this is happening in NRM. Now for the opposition, in fact, if NRM could have a benefit and an advantage over them, over their own disorganization, let it be. Let them lose the election. But then it shouldn't be at the cost of the intervention of other forces.
This election is critical. We are taking a break, but this election is very critical for the NRM, which performed dismally in the 2021 elections in Central Region. Do you think it's been given the attention it deserves?
No, the strategist within the NRM, and I think at one point I put it even to the president, when NRM performed dismally in the Central Region, there has been a tendency of abandoning the Central Region, quoting new areas, the North, and those other traditional opposition areas at the expense of the Central Region. They are blind to the fact that we lost at the individual level, at the parliamentary level to opposition candidates. But the total sum of votes from the Central Region, the total sum, despite the fact that we lost our members of parliament, they did not make it. But the total sum of the votes outweigh even those from the North and East combined together from here. So this is why I'm saying that there is a mismatch. Our strategists took that wrong decision. Like now you are seeing the solution they have is to move in with force. And we are saying no, it's wrong. Because in there, you have your own NRM there.
So NRM is waking up too late.
We may lose on the total number, but you have your substantial and very considerable numbers, which you could galvanize and put together, not only for the parliamentary, but also for the future elections that are soon coming.
Well,
so to me, I think there is a mistake, and that mistake within the party, we should not shy away from confronting that mistake. We should not allow the president to brutalize, to abandon the Central Region to the brutal forces, because we still have the genuine NRM supporters out there within the Central Region who still stand for the NRM. And now the way we've come in, it threatens to alienate us from our voters.
Thank you. We'll take a very short break and we'll be